Everything that we do here is calculated on the 2022 election, 2024 election.
I think Manchin is a fine man.
All right.
I wish he was a Republican instead of a Democrat, but you can't have everything. I'm worried he's going to be tricked. The revenues won't be there and the expenses will be there, and that's going to be inflationary. What are they doing? They're only putting more gas on the fire.
You get that concern? Have you talked to your donors about possibly running in 24?
What's up, you guys? It's here, and I have got some video footage from Senator Joe Manchin that you are not going to want to miss. Now, in here, they're going to be talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, the state of the economy. They're going to be using some of his words against him. Wait till you see it and his responses. Also, they're going to ask him about running for president in 2024. Will he support Biden if he decides to run? And also, they're going to mention, wait till the end, you're going to see it. They're going to say, Senator Joe Manchin, a lot of people are saying they believe you were tricked into passing a stimulus reconciliation bill that has no stimulus and is actually not going to reduce inflation. But some economists are saying this is actually going to spark even more inflation. And if there are some reductions in inflation, it's not going to be felt till 2030. And right now, the American people are feeling the pain. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. You're not going to want to miss this. See his responses to these. And like I said, you're going to be seeing several of these clips here where they're taking things that he had said in the past and they're having him argue against himself. Wow, this is pretty intense. Take a look at the headlines coming out. This came out over the weekend, you guys. The Manchin-Schumer Inflation Reduction Act, it's actually a fraud, saying it's not going to reduce inflation. The only inflation fighter in Dems' new bill is the name. They're saying that some of the provisions in here, they're actually going to be sparking more inflation, but not everybody agrees. The Manchin-backed Inflation Reduction Act is likely to live up to its name, Moody economists say. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think that they should pass this in hopes that it will fight inflation, or do you think it's going to cause even more inflation and they should not pass it? Should or shouldn't they? Should we focus on just sending out direct payments to people, maybe reallocating existing funds and not pass this bill? Is it even a stimulus reconciliation bill anymore? People are saying that there's not even direct assistance going out to help people. There's just an assortment of different things. One you're going to be hearing is a tax credit, an incentive of $7,500 to buy electric vehicles to help promote the clean energy agenda. But a lot of people are saying that's not going to help the average everyday person. Most people aren't going out buying electric vehicles. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys. But let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, smash the like button for me. Leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions to learn about growing wealth and personal finance, go right now at it. Going to be releasing the comprehensive list of all checks on all levels here very soon. A lot of people don't realize there are stimulus checks in Texas, in California, in Florida for various cities, counties, states, and they're only available for a limited amount of time. And we're hearing people are missing out every single day because they don't realize it's not just the federal checks, but there's checks happening every single day right now on different levels. I'm going to make sure that you don't miss out. Going to assemble that. Give me some time. It's taking me quite a while. Didn't realize what a task this was, but want to make sure that you guys get that so it's in one easy place to access. So www.reliefroadmap.com. Add your email if you haven't already. But with that being said, you guys, let's take a look at this video footage. Let me know your thoughts. Stick around to the end because it gets good with Senator Joe Manchin.
Joining us now, Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Hey, Brett, thanks for having me. It's always good to be with you.
You know, Senator, I talked to a number of business people over the past few days, and they really wanted to know this. They wanted to know why you changed or evolved your thinking, and why now?
Well, I've never changed or evolved my thinking. I always felt we should be able to fight inflation and try to give relief to people all over America right now with the highest inflation rates they've ever seen. And next of all, we do it by producing. You've got to produce. And if you're going to produce, you have to be able to have more energy so you can get the gas prices down, have more production and more manufacturing so you can get people working and not have layoffs and things of that sort. So it's going to take some investments. I've always looked at that for a balanced approach. I never could get there, didn't think I was going to get there this time. But it all came to fruition and it worked out, and I'm happy it did.
So in 2010, you said this: I don't think during a time of recession you mess with any of the taxes or increase any taxes. This bill does that. But here you are earlier this month.
You can't be raising taxes. You can't make anything inflationary. You can close some loopholes. You can find out where there's some things that should be done that should have been done before, but it won't be inflationary at all.
Now, technically, we're in a recession. And technically, according to multiple different organizations, this bill does raise taxes.
They're wrong. It does not raise taxes, and I've said this before. I said all we did was close loopholes, if you heard. First of all, in 2017, the tax rate, corporate tax rate, was 35%. It went from 35 to 21, 14% reduction, Brett. And when that did, everyone said, oh my goodness, this is tremendous. All we're doing is basically saying the largest corporations in America that have $1 billion of value or greater have to pay a minimum of 15% to help this great country. That's all. I don't think anyone in West Virginia thought that anyone could get by with not paying at least or 21%. So we did not raise taxes. We've closed loopholes. That's all we did. I made sure there was no tax increases in this whatsoever.
Well, here's the Tax Foundation. They say the proposed 15% minimum tax on corporate book income is the most economically damaging provision in the bill, reducing GDP by 0.1%, costing about 27,000 jobs. Here's Americans for Tax Reform on the energy portion. The legislation would impose a regressive tax on oil and gas development based upon emission levels of methane during production, leading to higher energy bills for consumers and higher costs of everyday products. Are they wrong?
We've worked with all those industries all the way through this piece of legislation on my side. All of my staff did. And when they're talking about the things they're talking about, that's not true at all. First of all, basically deterring people from making investments. We've had the absolute massive record profits for the last 2 years and the lowest amount of investment in capitalism as far as capital expenditures. That's because people don't have confidence in the government. They're basically strangled by the permitting processing. We're accelerating permit processing. We're doing all the things we can to make sure that we can get things to market as quick as humanly possible, get production back up, bring manufacturing back. We've done everything humanly possible here. This is an alt uptick. This is not a Republican or Democrat bill. It's not a green bill. This is a red, white, and blue bill. Brett, we've got one tremendous opportunity here to do something really, really monumental for our country.
You know, so last year you said the American Rescue Plan, the COVID relief bill, would not cause inflation. Take a listen.
You're spending $1.9 trillion, and that you may end up overheating the economy and causing inflation, sir.
Well, I hope we don't. I don't think we will because, again, I've said we spread it out. We didn't throw it all at one time.
But most experts now believe, Senator, that spending, that bill did spark the skyrocketing inflation. So why should Americans believe you now when you say that this new bill will not exacerbate inflation?
I made sure I don't make that mistake again. That's the bottom line. I make sure I didn't make that mistake again. With that, I tried. I was anticipating that we could help and do more, and everything that you have said here is correct, and I'm not countering that whatsoever. That's why I was extra cautious right now. And for the 8 months that I've endured being against Build Back Better and all the different things that the Democrat colleagues wanted to do, I thought was wrong. Definitely couldn't do any more and stopped all that from happening, Brett. This is a piece of legislation that's an investment. We've taken $3.5 trillion in spending that was aspirational spending that my colleagues wanted to do on the Democrat side, and we've taken that down to a $400 billion investment. We're not sending a check to anybody. You're going to have to basically produce. You're going to have to get out there and put some capital out there, take some risk and produce. Bringing manufacturing jobs back to America, building up a battery manufacturing and resourcing. I don't want to be dependent on foreign supply chains. That's exactly what has been happening. We're changing that. I'm just grateful that everyone's coming together. You know, my Republican friends, I've said this, we've done everything that basically, when you look in this bill, you've always wanted to basically make sure that we're able to reform permitting. We're doing that. You wanted to pay down debt. We're doing that. You wanted more manufacturing. We're doing that. We're doing everything you've asked. And I would hope in a normal time this will be a bipartisan bill, but I understand the toxic atmosphere we're in.
Yeah. But there are some analysis groups, some nonpartisan groups, University of Pennsylvania, Wharton School, says the act would very slightly increase inflation until 2024, then decrease inflation after that. But it says roughly it's indistinguishable from zero, and they don't think it'll have an impact on inflation. So, I mean, that's a group that's looking at this.
Brett, I respectfully disagree on that, but you know what? We can have differences of opinions. We paid down $300 billion of taxes into debt reduction, okay? 300, we've never done that in 25 years. We basically have taken $288 billion in savings that reduced the drug prices for Americans across the board. That hasn't been talked about for years, never done. We've accelerated the permitting process to bring products to market quicker. We've done all of this. And I'm saying, with that, we had 17 Nobel laureates the time before say that, oh, inflation is going to be transitory. So people have difference of opinion, but they have to work hard to find something. I'm not giving credit for anything as quick as we're going to make changes, bring more products to market, bring more production, increase that. And I think you're going to see people, when they start looking and reading the fine print, there's an awful lot of balance and good here for the American people.
All right, a couple more specifics, and then we'll talk broadly. This bill would give families making $300,000 a $7,500 tax credit to buy an electric vehicle. The Wall Street Journal writes it this way: the Biden administration is using regulation to essentially mandate that automakers churn out electric vehicles. Now taxpayers will subsidize that cost on top of the $7,500 electric vehicle tax credits, so affluent Americans can buy more Teslas. In April, you said this about giving tax credits to buy electric cars.
And there's a waiting list for EVs right now with a fuel price of $4. But they still want us to throw $5,000 or $7,000 or $12,000 credit to buy an electric vehicle. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. When supply and demand, and we can't produce enough product for the people that want it, and we're still going to pay them to take it, it's absolutely ludicrous in my mind.
So how did you go from ludicrous to signing off on it being in this bill?
It's still ludicrous, Brett, if you're going to pay just for the sake of buying a car. The bottom line is that this is the first time in the history of our country that we're not self-sufficient within the transportation mode. We're depending on China for all the battery components, the anodes and cathodes. We don't do any of that. This bill here is based around battery manufacturing. If the battery and the critical minerals aren't sourced and processed and developed in North America, you don't get it. So if you want to mature that industry so we're going to be self-sufficient again in transportation mode, this is the way to do it. We just didn't throw $7,500 out because you want to buy an electric car. And also we gave it for used vehicles so people going to work have a $4,000 credit, but that battery has to be sourced and produced in North America and all of our favored nations such as Australia. This is what we're looking for. We shouldn't be looking for Australia. We shouldn't be looking for China to make sure that they have a total stranglehold on us, and that's what we're trying to break. And we're going to break it as quickly as we can because we're incentivizing.
You said that you extracted promises from Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi and the White House to relook at and fix oil permitting and focus on energy security, but it's not in this bill, that part of it. Home Depot co-founder Ken Langone had this to say about the bill and your efforts.
I think Manchin is a fine man. I wish he was a Republican instead of a Democrat, but you can't have everything. But I think his motive is noble and fair. I believe he's going to be tricked. Okay, that's what I'm worried about. I shouldn't say I believe. I'm worried he's going to be tricked. The revenues won't be there and the expenses will be there, and that's going to be inflationary. That's going to be, by its very definition, inflationary. All right. So what are they doing? They're only putting more gas on the fire.
You get that concern?
Well, I respect Mr. Langone. He's a fine person. He's done tremendous with all of his investments, and especially with Home Depot, how well they've done and how they treat their employees. So I respect that tremendously. The difference is this. He's saying that you can get tricked in this and that. We have an agreement. I have a trust there. But I can tell you, it has consequences if either one of us don't keep our bargain. So from Chuck Schumer to Nancy Pelosi to the President of the United States, we have an agreement that we are going to do permitting reforms. If that doesn't happen, I said again, on either side, if I don't keep my word and my bargain, if they don't keep theirs, there will be consequences. But on the other hand we do have that tied into this bill, that if you're going to basically continue to promote offshore wind or onshore wind and solar, you have to also aggressively promote the fossil industry that we need, that is the engine that makes this country run right now, until that transition may happen whenever that is. But we're not going to basically walk away from any one of our fossil industry right now until we have something that will replace it down the road. We're not doing the European model, Brett, and that's what we were very adamant about. Yeah. That's in the bill. The accelerating the permitting is going to be by simultaneously what other countries do. Allow you to go through 2 or 3 or 4 processes at one time as you're being evaluated, rather than going one at a time and taking 8 or 10 years versus 6 months, 9 months, or 2 years.
Yeah, Senator, you've signed on, but it's not a done deal yet. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema has been standing previously against tax increases of any kind. She would have been a no vote on Build Back Better. New York Times said Ms. Sinema of Arizona has privately told colleagues she will not accept any corporate or income tax rate increases. Do you know where she stands on this bill?
I really don't. She's a dear friend of mine, and we work very close together. She has an awful lot in this bill because basically her negotiating and working on this have drug pricing to where we are able to save costs as far as high-cost drugs and pharmaceuticals and bring that down for Medicare and let Medicare negotiate. That was great, and I appreciate that. Also, she's been very adamant about tax increases. We made sure there's no tax increases. But loopholes is a different thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone believes we should pay our fair share.
She seemed blindsided by it, though. You didn't bring her in on the decision?
I didn't bring anybody in because I didn't want anyone to be disappointed again. I've gone through 8 months. You know, the smart political thing is do nothing, I guess. That's what a lot of people do, just sit back and do nothing because you can't get criticized for it. I never did quit looking for an avenue forward to have solid energy production, reliability, and fight inflation. That's what I've been trying to do. So I didn't want to bring anybody into the fold here that says this thing might fall apart. Here's Joe, he's going down the road again, and we're not getting there. I couldn't get there, and I didn't know we were going to get there, to be honest with you, until it came to fruition.
Last thing, Senator, there's been story after story about Democrats expressing concern or flat out saying that President Biden should not run for re-election in 2024. Do you think he will?
I can't predict 2024. I truly can't, and I don't think we should.
Would you support him if he did?
Everyone is so upset about. Let me just say this. That's what everyone is so upset about. Everything that we do here is calculated on the 2022 election, 2024 election. I'm not going to get into that. Whoever they send me, and if I'm still here, I work with whoever, whether it's a president, President Biden, or a new president, whoever it may be. I'm not going to make those decisions, and I'm just going to fight like the Dickens to make sure this piece of legislation gives us relief and fights inflation, and it's great for America. That's all I care about right now.
Would you support him if he did run in 24?
I'm not going to get into the 2024 election.
All right. Well, how about this? Have you talked to your donors?
This right here, Brad.
Have you talked to your donors about possibly running in 24?
I'm not going to get into 2024. No matter what happens in 2024, there'll be plenty of politics between now and then. Can't we just fix what's in front of us right now? High inflation, high gas prices, high food prices, high energy prices. This fixes that. And I'm asking my Republican colleagues, work with me. We've done things that you've told me over the years. It's in this bill. It's a tremendous opportunity.
Senator Manchin, we appreciate your time, as always.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, I got to ask, do you think that Senator Joe Manchin is actually wanting to run for president in 2024? He wouldn't offer his support. He said he didn't want to get into it, and you saw him smiling, and I wonder if maybe he's considering a presidential run in 2024. Would you vote for Manchin? Do you think he should do it? Also, do you think that he has been tricked, like we heard from the CEO of Home Depot, into passing a bill that does not have any inflation reduction provisions and does not have any stimulus provisions either? Has he been duped by Democrats? Let me know your thoughts, you guys. But we're going to be seeing, and also we heard them mention that this is not in the clear yet. We still got to get Kirsten Sinema on board. We have not heard from her yet. We're going to be seeing what she thinks about this bill, and if she does get on board, then it will likely pass the Senate and go through the House and go through the process of reconciliation, which is quite the lengthy process. So this bill might be by no means done. Now, we will see. I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. But you guys, that is the latest. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash the like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I'll let you know everything going on with Congress, stimulus checks, what's happening with our economy, so that way you can be notified about every single stimulus check available in the nation, so that way you don't miss out. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.